Yeah. So, Reese, you're the man with the knowledge, whether it's
Thank you.
Metroid Prime or other things gaming related. So I guess we'll just go around. I think we've all prepared some questions. I know
Sure.
Nate requested Thunderstash submit some and kind of pick your brain. I'm sure not everything we'll have answers for, but I think ultimately it's going to be fun just to get some perspective outside of someone who's just, you know, a gamer like us who doesn't have too many deep inside info. And we enjoy a lot of healthy and fun speculation here, but I guess I could start it off, and we could all jump around. We don't have to stay on focus with my questions to start. I definitely, all the questions I have are Metroid related.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah,
What a
right.
like, oh my god.
Wow, really? Metroid?
Yeah. And today was a crazy work day, so I did not prepare my questions in any particular order. So we're going to be all over the place with these, at least on my end. But I'll start with one that I feel feels like the most present. Obviously, there was a big event where a bunch of media got to go and go hands-on for, I believe, over an hour, a couple hours maybe, on Prime 4. And there was a lot of really good feedback, except there was one glaring, I guess, I don't know that I would call it an issue, but at least for a lot of the people who played the game, one glaring issue that really hampered the experience and put a lot of fear in the media's minds. And obviously I'm talking Miles McKenzie, an NPC who's a little bit awkward and quite chatty, and you got a lot of complaints about people saying, I want my Metroid Prime to feel isolated and lonely like it's always felt. Now, me personally, I'm hoping that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is primarily sold to people who are playing Metroid Prime for the first time, because that means that they're reaching a bigger and broader audience. Obviously, all the primers are going to be there day one. We already know that. So I'm hoping that the majority of people who are playing this game have no notion of like, I prefer my Prime games to be super isolated. And I also think it's important for this series to evolve to reach a wider audience. And personally, obviously, I haven't gone hands-on with the game at all, but I do believe that adding, a little bit more substance, a little bit more story, more personality, raising the stakes, in a way is one good way to evolve the series. But I'm being a little long-winded here. My question is, I was hearing that after the preview event, that the team at Retro was asking a lot of the media what they thought about Miles McKenzie, and I thought that was interesting to hear that, because it seemed like they might already feel like this could be a divisive piece of the game. And if they're asking everyone what their thoughts on that, does that mean, I mean, we're only a couple weeks away. I imagine that there isn't anything that they could change or adjust, but I was just curious if you knew anything about this, because it sounds like they knew this was going to be divisive.
Yeah, a few things. Was it
Yeah.
Retro or was it Nintendo of America that were asking?
Or maybe it was Nintendo of America.
Yeah, because that's a
I may
completely
have
different thing.
misspoke. Sure.
Yeah. A few different things. So if they were to change something, the only thing I would think they could change is lessen maybe the amount that Miles chimes in during gameplay. Yeah, right. That would be the only thing. But there's probably been huge amounts of play testing before it even got to this point.
Sure.
And something to think about, which is actually something I've been thinking about in hindsight, is when all the critics went to preview this game, we did not have the overview trailer. We did not have all the information that's on the Japanese website.
Sure.
And they literally dropped the overview trailer, if I recall, like 30 minutes before their preview came out.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, what they were saying about the game was somewhat redundant. It was out of date, right? Because they were basing their entire view of the game based on everything up until that point. So there was no further context from the overview trailer and everything as
Right.
well, which is something to keep in mind. My thinking is this with the whole Miles thing is it's gone from annoying to so over the top that it's hilarious because the meltdown is just absolutely insane.
It's wild.
Yeah,
I
it's
was shocked to see how strong. Like I understand, man. Like, yeah, I prefer the isolated feeling of Metroid Prime 1, but people are talking about it like it's just like devastating for this game. Like, oh, this just ruins the experience. And it's what, like the Miles was like a 15-minute mission,
yeah, 15,
and
20
then
minutes.
then you go your separate ways.
Yeah, like unfortunately, there is a group of people, whether it's gaming, whether it's film, whether it's comics, that if they develop an emotional attachment to an IP, sometimes as a result of that, they can have part of their identity attached to that IP. So when
Sure.
somebody criticizes it, or if a company deviates from what they perceive that IP to be, they view it as a cardinal sin, and then it actually triggers their fight or flight response. And so they're no longer able to act rationally, and they're getting super emotional and the adrenaline's rushing through them. And I think that's just part of the problem with this whole Miles thing because it was so left field and I think no one was expecting it. That's partly it. I also think some of this is just actually trolls and grifters. I mean, we saw
Sure.
with the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement with the pricing, right? People having a meltdown. Guess what? It's still sold out, right? You saw the same thing with
Yeah.
Pokemon ZA. You've even seen like criticisms of Mario Kart World. So I think this is just some sort of doom posting to an extent
I
as well.
I agree with that. I think I was more surprised by some of the like bigger media perception of this preview event. Some of the stuff that I heard from like Nintendo Life or IGN. I know it was very doom and gloom based on that one thing, and it sounded like everything else was fantastic. So it was so weird to have that one piece be the most prominent takeaway from the experience. And the other part
Yeah.
is like obvious. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a Prime game. You want the series to evolve. Like I said earlier, you want to
100%.
broaden. This is a series we desperately want to sell well. We need to widen the market of consumers who are going to be picking this up and playing it. I mean, we had Breath of the Wild completely reinvent the wheel when it came to Zelda and threw away a lot of the core staples that people have come to know and love. Traditional dungeons, more focused storytelling. A lot of stuff was gone from that game, and you had a more isolated and empty experience, but it was met with glowing praise. And you also had something similar with like God of War kind of reinvented itself in 2018, and you have a chatty sidekick with your son in that game. It's just weird to me that this one just had such backlash, especially knowing like, hey guys, we really want this to sell. Like we could barely crack 3 million with Dread, which is the best-selling Metroid game in the series. This is the most expensive entry. Maybe we should have a little bit more story. Maybe we should have a little bit more world building and character development outside of Samus. But I don't know. I just found this one really interesting. But I also was pretty interested in the questioning, like knowing that it might be divisive and asking immediately after, what do you guys think of Miles? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And you alluded to kind of what I thought maybe could be a change, as when you're running through the world and the character's kind of yapping in the background. What's that? Don't forget to check that out. Maybe they flip that off or something and it's just in the cutscenes. But
yeah, I mean, I partially agree with them on the fact that it is like a tonal whiplash
sure.
in the gameplay. Like you're right at the beginning, there's the atmosphere, everything's there, and then you're walking through the world, and then you get this character, you've got the sensational music that's there, and then you've got this character in the background that's being slightly annoying. But in regards to the cutscenes, I thought they were absolutely fine.
Yep.
Yes, there's some cheesy dialogue, but all Nintendo games have cheesy dialogue. Like
Yep.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, Breath of the Wild, even they had some cheesy dialogue. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I do think some of these critics that were saying this stuff, as I said before, they have an emotional attachment to Metroid, right? And one of them, Logan from IGN, and look, I don't know the guy. Maybe he's a nice dude. I have no idea. But when I was watching his preview, it was like he was reliving a traumatic experience, and he was actually aggravating himself as he was talking about it. Like he was getting more angry about it as he was talking about it.
It was
like
a very
self-fulfilling
extreme reaction.
Yeah, like almost like he's the self-fulfilling cycle of aggravation. So it was really weird to watch, and there's a few others as well. So I don't think it's a big deal. What I think has happened over the years, because you got to remember, like Nintendo actually has access to a lot of data now that they didn't before, right? They can see when someone's playing a game, they can see when they drop out, the percentage of completion and things like that. Like with the Wii, with the Wii U, the Metroid Prime trilogy was available on there.
Yep.
So they would have been able to see people playing, like in terms of the stats and the data. And even with Metroid Prime Remastered, they could probably see where people drop off and what causes people to drop off. So that may have played a part in their decision making as to, do we include this guy? Do we not include this guy? Like, I think with tutorials are actually very hard to do. They actually are. There aren't many games that I would say have like awesome, like knock it out of the park tutorials. Like Breath of the Wild is one.
Sure.
Resident Evil 4 is one, but then there's like some that are terrible. Like I think Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword all have terrible tutorials. They go on forever. So what I'm thinking with this is it's just a way to try and ease new players into a Metroid game. That's all it is. I mean, because it's clearly evident from the 4 trailers, from the overview trailer, from the footage on the Japanese website, that isolation is still very much there, right? It's not going to be 24/7 like the original Metroid Prime, but it is still there, and it's still there prominently. It's just that I
feel like it would be the majority still. That's the vibe that I got, that like you're gonna run into these characters, you're gonna have their missions. Maybe maybe there's something akin to like the codec and Metal Gear Solid where they're communicating with you and stuff and giving story updates. But I imagine the majority of the game you don't have a sidekick tagging along with you.
Like I don't actually think it's a big deal. I think there's some rigid Metroid fans, unfortunately, that just have this hard-headed view that if every game is not like Super Metroid or Metroid Prime, then it's trash.
Yeah.
It's like if it's not full isolation, then it's trash. It's like, this isn't a Metroid game. Which of course, like since Metroid Fusion, there's been an NPC. I think the last time a game had no NPCs at all was Zero Mission. No, Samus Returns was probably, but even then,
Returns.
like the Metroid, and that was a remake, right? And same with Zero Mission remake. But Fusion, Dread, Prime 2, Prime 3, Other M, Federation Force, all have NPCs to some degree. But I think the main issue for people was just being caught off guard and not knowing how to deal with it. Because the thing also is Nintendo kept Miles hidden for quite a long time. But then there's a part of me that wonders if this was intentional. Like they knew this would piss people off, so like they did it deliberately to kind of I suppose market it or bring more awareness to it, right?
Yeah.
Because they timed it with the preview and the overview trailer pretty much almost overlap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. Which kind of brings me to my next question. I don't know if you want me to hop around or if you want me to just knock out my Prime questions.
However you want to handle it.
Are you guys cool if we just get through Prime and then each person could do their own? Stay focused. Cool.
I just want to note, I love Miles McKenzie. I think it's one of my favorite things they've done to Metroid in a long time. I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's controversial for some people, but apparently I'm not alone. I put up a post on X being like, "Hey, I got your back, buddy." And
I actually don't mind
1,000 likes on that post.
I don't mind him. There's a couple of lines that are probably a bit like, but I think overall, especially in the cutscenes, I like the dynamic he has with Samus.
Yeah, I love the.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's just they're just trying to appeal to a larger audience because let's just be honest.
As they should.
Reese has brought it up himself. This is probably $100 million plus budget game. One of the most expensive games Nintendo's ever made. A few million in sales ain't gonna cut it. They gotta find a way to expand Metroid beyond what it's been. Like, it has its core audience. So did Zelda. And they had to make a drastic change to try to appeal to more people, and it worked. And so they're making a drastic change here with the connected Hyrule Field like desert, and yes, more NPC interactions, because maybe part of the problem with the series, and I stress saying it's a problem, but something maybe holding it back is maybe there just aren't 10 million people that like to play games where they feel isolated the entire time.
Part of it, but I think also is obviously the budget is a big part of it, right? It's actually not sustainable to keep making these games at the scale you're making them without reaching a wider demographic. And the other thing is Nintendo are expanding into film. If they want to make a movie out of Metroid, you can't make a movie with Samus being the only character for 2 hours. Like,
who barely talk.
Yeah, as a little side note, so back in 2013-14, I actually wrote a movie script for a Metroid film. And as I was writing it, I realized how hard it would be to make a Metroid film, and like I couldn't figure out a way to make Samus the main character and it not be boring. You actually have to have additional characters, so I think that might play a part in this as well, in terms of them wanting to expand into film, because everybody wants them to make a Metroid film. But yeah,
that literally we've bled into two of my questions. I actually have one. I'll just knock this one out since we're talking about it right now. One of my questions was, do you know if there's been rumblings or even from anyone on the Metroid team with interest in Nintendo's branching out into entertainment, but possibly pushing Metroid into movies, a show, or even the theme park? Where we're seeing potential for Zelda coming to Universal Studios. Are you aware of any sort of push for Metroid to bleed outside of just the games and into a little bit more of the entertainment side?
No, I haven't heard anything, and I'd be very, very surprised if they would do it, because if I was in their shoes, from a business standpoint, from a financial standpoint, it doesn't really make sense when you've got way bigger IP. I think you'd probably see an Animal Crossing film before a Metroid film.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm not an Animal Crossing guy at all.
I'm wondering if even merch at the theme parks would be something that helps kind of brand awareness, but maybe again, that's not viable considering.
Maybe. I mean, Nintendo will obviously have a hell of a lot of data, so they'd be able to see whether it would be viable or not. The other thing as well is Metroid is just not popular in Japan. And they're patriots of Japan, man. So if it's not doing well there,
do we think the motorcycle will change that?
100%. The motorcycle, I can tell you right now, was made for Japan, because Japan loves motorcycles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's a Tanabe idea, because his favorite film is Mad Max.
Yeah. So say it felt like a Tanabe idea because of the Mad Max. I'm like, this is
So the motorcycle and the Federation are Tanabe's idea.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. One of them that I was curious about, you talk about the press event as well as that kind of overview trailer overlapping. I've found the marketing for this game to be very interesting, starting with the lack of. I mean, I've complained about it on the podcast for like a few months.
I love it how you're PC about it and you're saying it's interesting.
Yes, interesting. If I
interestingly
use
bad,
it's a nice way of saying bad. If someone goes, "Oh, how's your food?" Or "How was that candy?" I say, "It's interesting." It's bad.
It means he hates it. He hates it.
I hate it. The marketing's been interesting for this game, and I know that Nintendo has a certain marketing cycle. I know they generally do the big push within 30 days before launch. That way they don't overlap with other games. But I always found Metroid Prime 4, given obviously its cost to make, its budget being so high, as well as the fact that like this is a game series that's so niche and really needs the sales. I thought that they'd push a little bit harder. I thought for sure we'd be getting some sort of focus direct that really answers the question, what is Metroid? Because I know most people have never played a Metroid game before, and most people will look at those trailers that we've seen in previous directs and think that, oh, this is just a first person shooter, but it doesn't look very good because it looks way slower than Halo and it looks slower than Call of Duty. I don't know what this is. This just looks like a not very good first person shooter. So I found it. I'd been crossing my fingers. I'm convinced we're not getting one. We're 2 weeks away. I highly doubt it. I think the
You're not getting
overview
a direct
trailer.
man.
Yeah. I think the overview trailer was the first thing where it was like, oh crap, like this was a hype trailer. This is what I've been wanting, but I also feel like they haven't been as loud as they've needed to be for this game. And I'm just curious your thoughts on kind of the marketing plan, if they're doing enough, because I really do feel like this is make or break for Prime, at least. Maybe not Metroid as a whole. I think Dread sold well enough, but I'm very nervous about this game that I want to succeed so badly.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wondering about the marketing. I've been very vocal online about how it sucks. And I got a lot of backlash about it. But yeah,
That's why we use the word interesting.
Yeah. But I actually wonder, because with the marketing, especially for the first 3 trailers, they didn't seem like a traditional Nintendo trailer. I almost wonder if they were outsourced to some sort of third party to do the trailer, because it didn't feel like a traditional Nintendo trailer. And often, besides from the very first one, which was at the end of a direct, they were kind of just like chucked in there. I thought the 4th trailer was decent, and I thought the overview trailer was decent. So I think they've redeemed themselves somewhat. But I think part of the problem with the marketing as well is because this just hasn't had a very good development cycle. And there's been issues internally to get it done. And I don't want people to take that like, oh my God, it was a disaster. I'm just like, these are just things that pop up in game development from time to time, especially with something as big in terms of its scope. And maybe Nintendo is worried about the budget of this thing, that they don't want to put too much money into the marketing.
That's what I was curious. Like, we've already spent so much on the game.
Oh yeah,
it's not like it's not gonna be like a Mario or a Zelda or an Animal Crossing. Maybe we kind of just cut our losses and just do a nice overview trailer and a couple direct trailers.
Yeah. Also, you say you're worried about like the Prime series ending. I'm not necessarily too worried about that. So I did an interview maybe last year, I think it was, with Brian Walker. He was the producer on Metroid Prime 2 and 3. And there's actually a clip on my YouTube page. I don't know if you want to play it or not. But it's basically, so if you just type in, Nate, why Nintendo makes Metroid despite bad sales, maybe put Kiwi in there or something, and it'll more than likely come up. Because it's probably better that it just comes from the horse's mouth. I mean, I can say it too, but it's only like 2 minutes as well.
Yeah, we can play this. Yeah.
Because it pretty much explains why not to be worried. Unless this game completely bombs, I still think there'll be a Prime 5.
Okay, and real quick before you play it, I do have a question about Prime 5. We did have some rumors circulating online about Prime 5 already being in development. I found that a little bit hard to believe when we heard about it, but I am curious if you've heard anything at least about interest to jump right into it. I'm curious if this has been an exhausting endeavor for Retro and they're kind of looking to move on to something else, or if you've heard great interest in what comes next from the series.
Yeah, so that's a 2-part question. So I can tell you Retro are currently very burned out right now. They are very burned out. With that being said, what usually happens with developers when they're burned out is they leave that studio and go to another one. Nobody is going to do that right now because of the way the industry is, and Retro Studios is probably one of the safest places to work in all of the United States because Nintendo do not lay people off. So even though they're burned out, they'll probably take a wee breather and then go from there. These rumors about Metroid Prime 5 being a thing, it's absolute rubbish, man. I think it was Nash Weedle. And like, if you knew how game development works, it's absolute rubbish. Like, you don't work on the second game when your first game is not even finished. It's just not how this stuff works.
The only thing there could be maybe is like, the only thing I can think of is if like there was a conversation that we are going to make Prime 5. Like it's greenlit, but isn't started.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, they could have ideas for Prime 5.
Yeah.
And
Like, I don't think back in 2023, right when Tears of the Kingdom came out, Aonuma and Fujibayashi talked about how like we have ideas for the next Zelda, but they hadn't even started it yet.
Yeah. And also, like, it's not like you finish a game and then you just move into the next game. They'd have to create a pitch that they have to present to Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And then Nintendo has to greenlight it, and then
Yep.
they go from there. And also, this is supposed to be Tanabe-san's last game before he retires. So,
You know that.
So the shadow producer of Tanabe is Risa Tabata. So it's more than likely if he retires, and the only person who knows this for certain is him, right? And you see this with creative people all the time. They're like, I'm retiring, and then they get the bug, and then they're like, actually, I don't want to retire.
Yeah, they step away for a month, and they're like, you know what? I'm not.
Yes, but at this stage, he is retiring. So that would essentially mean that Risa Tabata has to transition into his role. And that takes a bit of time. And then you've got a pitch on top of that. So it's not going to be like, yeah, Prime 4 is finished. Sweet, let's go straight into Prime 5. It doesn't work like that. There may be a Prime 5. Retro might be burned out and they're like, we're done. Can we work on another IP for a while? It's entirely possible. But it also depends on how well Metroid Prime 4 sells as well. Like if it sells 1 million units, maybe there won't be a Prime 5, at least not anytime soon. If it sells 10 million, yeah, you better believe they'll be coming out with a picture. Yeah. And my personal theory is that because people have been asking, where's Metroid Prime 2 remastered? Where's Metroid Prime 3 remastered? I think if a Metroid Prime 2 remastered was to happen, it would happen after Prime 4 is completely done. Because usually what happens is after a project is done, like engineers and designers, they'll start prototyping things to work out what their next project is. Right. Usually it results in the artists having a lot of downtime. That's why quite a few companies have DLC just to give artists something to do. So if the designers and engineers are prototyping things, the artists would be able to maybe concept up or start working on texture maps for a probable Metroid Prime 2. And then if a Metroid Prime 5 is to happen, once it's fully greenlit, then maybe the bulk of the work they outsource to someone else. That's my thinking.
Right.
Yeah. I know you didn't ask me that question, but I thought I'd just chuck that.
Right. No, this is great info. And I got to say, I hope that this is something that Retro gets to revisit and that they're passionate about revisiting again. I would absolutely love to see what Metroid Prime could look like, not without the constraints of Switch 1, the limitations of Switch 1. Because just looking at what we've seen, and I know we're seeing footage from the Switch 2 edition, but still just looking at this and be like, this is a Switch 1 game. This is wild. I could only imagine with the use of Switch 2, what they'd be able to put together for us. I've got 4 more.
I'll just quickly, I'll just say something to that. So what usually happens when Retro's working on a game is Nintendo's overseeing it, right? And they have a lot of oversight on the design. Like they're super anal about the design, right? So designers will end up having to stay late. They're very meticulous about that aspect of game development. When it comes to the art, Nintendo largely let Retro do whatever they want because they have huge respect for the artists at Retro. The only time they ever give, well, not always, but most of the time they give, I suppose, info, or they want the artists to do something in particular, it's in regards to their legacy characters. like the character art, right? So they would have been like hounding the artists or whoever the artist was that was working on Samus and being like, she has to move like this armor has to be like this. It was the same with like DK, Dixie, Diddy, with Donkey Kong as well. But yeah, anyway, that's some edit info for you.
I love it. Hell yeah. And I've got 4 more questions, but before I jump into my last 4 questions, let's play that clip since it's on topic with kind of Prime 5 and at least the question regarding my concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to introduce this clip, Kiwi, so people know.
Yeah. Okay. So last year I did a whole bunch of 20th anniversary interviews with devs who worked on Metroid Prime 2. So this one was with the producer on Metroid Prime 2. And we talked about a lot of different things in the interview. Sales did come up, marketing came up. And basically in this clip, I asked him exactly that in regards to should we be worried about Metroid games in the future since they seem to be stagnating in terms of sales. And this is what he had to say. It's great stuff.
All right.
Fair to say that it's a bit worrisome in terms of the sales.
Hold on. That's on my end. See where the audio's coming out here. Aha, that's why. Okay, should come out there. All right, let's try this again. Rewind.
Restart.
Would it be?
Oh, do I have to refresh the whole thing? Try that.
Would it be?
Nope, still not working. Why is the audio not working at all?
I can hear it fine.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You can hear it? It's just me.
Can the chat hear it? Ask the chat if they can hear it.
All right, if you guys can hear it, we'll just play it. I don't have to hear it. It's fine. I've already watched it, so. Or I can just listen on my phone. well, it's playing.
Yeah, they can hear. They can all hear. So
cool.
Just play it, Nate. Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that it's a bit worrisome in terms of the sales of the franchise? Because obviously costs are increasing, but the franchise tends to just still be selling at the same level. I think Dread sold 3 million, so that's good, but I don't know what the budget was.
One of my most influential mentors over the course of my career was Ben Gordon at EA. And when I was part of a mentorship program and got to talk to him a lot, learned a huge amount from him. He's just a fantastic individual. But he was also able to get me in as a fly on the wall into a lot of really high-powered board meetings and director conversations. And I quickly started to understand that even if you can't dominate a space, even if your product is not topping the charts, it's important that you still occupy a space. Even in chess terms, a pawn at e4 is still going to affect the middle. It's just a pawn, but it still has a presence. And so that presence, even if you can't dominate the middle, that pawn, that occupation is still valuable from a corporate standpoint. And that's when we start talking about the high level considerations of stock pricing and so forth. So it's having a presence is often just as important as dominating a space with chart toppers.
Right. So even though Metroid doesn't sell on the level of, say, Zelda or Smash Brothers, it's still important to Nintendo, primarily because of what it represents in the genre. And I suppose it represents a different audience, maybe a mature audience, more so than some of the other stuff.
Yeah, it represents a very high quality standard within a more mature audience.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So that pretty much explains it. And that's not just me
clip.
reiterating what he's saying. I mean, you heard it from the man himself. Yeah. He was a producer on Prime 2, 3, and he was senior director of development on Donkey Kong Country Returns and Mario Kart 7. So
hell yeah.
This is he does know what he's talking about.
Awesome. So I got one more question about the future, and then my last questions are more present regarding Prime 4.
Sure.
Do you think based off of any of your conversations or knowledge that you have, do you think there's a chance that this could be a title that has DLC down the road? Or do you think it's just going to be Prime 4 is what it is, and then either they're going to work on the next one or it'll be left at that?
I don't think there'll be DLC. No, especially if Tanabe's retiring, because it messes up the entire pipeline.
Sure.
I don't think so. No, I think this is a done
Okay.
for them, considering
One
how
and
long
done.
it took as well. Yeah.
Sure.
And they probably just want to work on Switch 2 hardware, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Last questions for you regarding Prime 4. I'm curious about the scope of this game. Obviously, we do have the biggest open zone we've ever seen in a Prime game with the desert. Are there going to be more open zones like that in Prime 4? And as far as scope, is this game going to be in length much bigger than anything we've seen previously in the Prime series?
I got to be careful how I answer this.
Yeah, answer very carefully.
Or don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I said, I think last time I was on here, right? Because people were panicking about it being open world, but I said it wasn't open world. It's open areas, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember me saying that? Yeah.
Yes.
And so from what you can see from the trailers, I think that's very much what you're seeing. It's not an open world game. It still has the lock and key stuff that's there. What was the second question you were asking me?
The scope as far as like your adventure. Like, is this going to be the biggest adventure
yes.
that we've ever gone on in the series? Or is it going to be roughly the same?
No, I think it's longer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a whole bunch of side stuff. It's
cool.
not the traditional Metroid Prime game, but it kind of is at the same time. You can see that they've taken a lot of influence from Zelda and Ocarina of Time in terms of how the layout of the world is, right? You've got Soul Valley is like the Hyrule field, and then you've got all the different areas. Yeah.
Even the puzzle stuff that we've seen so far seems, like you said, a little bit more of like Zelda. Obviously, there was a little bit of puzzles in the old Prime games, but doesn't feel like to this degree that they're doing now. It seems like they really amped that up to the next level.
Yeah, and I don't actually know how much of that is retro and how much of that is SPD. Tanabe. Don't forget, Tanabe was a producer on Link to the Past.
Right.
So maybe, but yeah, it's clearly obvious that they've taken influence from Zelda. I see quite a bit of stuff from Skyward Sword.
Sure.
In some of the puzzle solving, especially that what is it, the psychic?
Yep, the psychic thing.
Yeah, which is like the beetle from Skyward Sword.
So much. Like,
yeah.
Awesome, good stuff. And then my last question for Prime 4. We've seen some evolutions in this series. Obviously, bigger zones, at least one massive zone compared to anything we've gotten before. New characters with escort missions, which isn't really a thing that you get in Prime games. A new mount with the motorcycle and psychic abilities. These are all evolutions for the series. Is there any special surprises? And so have we seen everything that this game has to offer? Is there more evolutions? Is there a big surprise that's been tucked away that's going to shock everyone when they finally get their hands on Prime 4? You don't have to say what it is, but
I'd make the comparison to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you know how there's a lot of stuff hidden? Like the depths and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll just say that there's like more to it than meets the eye. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But they've been doing this a lot lately. Like even with Donkey Kong Bonanza, they did the same thing, right?
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more to that game than like that was shown. So it's Nintendo's style of marketing. But yeah, you'll see. Come release date. You'll see.
Awesome.
So
Kiwi,
close.
that is all my Metroid questions that I wrote down. Thank you so much for answering all those. Super informative, really exciting stuff. And of course, like hearing from you and seeing that little clip that we just put on a moment ago, that Prime still has a future. that there's hope for the series, even if this one doesn't just do gangbusters and 10, 15 million plus, even if it doesn't hit those metrics, that there's still hope for the series makes me really happy, because this is one, I've been critical of the way they've been presenting it, and it's only from the position that I want this game to be as successful as possible. I want as many players to get their hands on this game, first time players. So it's nice to have some positivity and excitement.
Yeah, I think that also plays in to what you said in regards to like people overreacting about stuff. I think a lot of Metroid fans are on edge because they don't want the franchise to go on hiatus again.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they're a bit, I suppose, reactionary in regards to this stuff. But you need not worry, okay? As the clip said, and like they look at Metroid a bit different to the other franchises because they know it brings in a different demographic. And once you get people into the ecosystem, they spend money on additional games, which ends up going into Nintendo's pocket, which is all important. And also, even though this game is like $100 million game, they're subsidizing the cost somewhat with Amiibo.
Yeah.
So
probably the coolest Amiibo we've ever seen too.
Yeah. Like when I posted about the $100 million budget, I think a lot of people just fixated on that and they didn't look at the stuff I posted underneath the original tweet, right? And obviously all the articles went ham on it, left out a few key points. But I wasn't saying this is $100 million game. Like this is going to be the end of the Prime series if it doesn't sell 5 million. I actually never said that. I was just being open about the realities of the situation. That look, Metroid Prime 1 cost 10 million, Metroid Prime 2 cost 10 million, Metroid Prime 3 cost about 12 million, and now Prime 4 is like 100 million plus, right? So you've just got to be realistic about these things. It actually has to reach a wider demographic. Like if Metroid had been with any other company, if any other publisher had the Metroid IP, it would have been dead years ago, right? They wouldn't even have wasted their time. So I think Metroid fans, you just need to be chill a little bit. Nintendo, they do care. They're doing their best, but you just got to be realistic.
Maybe not post that the game's trash because of one thing you don't like.
Yeah, especially when you haven't seen it. Like when you're talking about story stuff, especially, like I think it's not a good thing to do that because you don't know the full arc of the character. Like you're seeing one isolated bit. Like when it comes to story elements, especially, I do think you need to understand the full arc. I mean, we don't know. I mean, there could be some twist and Miles is like Silex, or Miles like,
that'd be wild.
Betrays Samus, or who knows? Like we don't know.
It's your son.
So, yeah, and this is guesses, by the way. I don't know anything about the story. I
likely story, pal.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
cool deal.
It's based on your script. That's why you don't want to say anything.
Nah.
Well, whoever wants to jump in next, again, Kiwi, I really appreciate it. Great stuff from you on Metroid Prime 4, and that's all I got. So,
well, I think we should drag in the Thunder since he hasn't said a word since he's been here. People watching the video version know he's here. The audio version, they just thought Thunderstash has been gone this whole time. He's actually been here, guys, for like 40 minutes. Yeah. Hasn't said anything. Welcome to the show, Thunderstash. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Good to be here.
What do you want to ask Reese about over here?
Let's see. So I got a little list here.
A little list?
A little
list?
A little list?
40 questions.
I don't know what a little of the stash could be like a novel. So
it's not a lot.
Okay,
so
I wrote 30.
I think it was yesterday or the day before. There was a rumor about The Sims. Now, I brought this up on the podcast over a year ago about The Sims coming to Switch 2. And to me, it just makes a lot of sense, of course, to have these Sims portably. We have My Sims that was released last year. Just kind of as a title to throw on Switch 1 of those third-party ports to kind of feed the Nintendo Switch. And So to me, it's always made sense. And then the Joy-Con mouse controls were announced. I'm like, yeah, okay, now it makes twice as much sense. And then a rumor came out from the Sims community, and for me, it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to get a Sims title on Switch too. That rumor that just came out just added a little bit more fuel to the fire. My question is, do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything. However, I will say when it comes to EA, I don't expect much. There are a couple of people in upper management that really do not like them. They still hold a grudge over the whole Origins thing. The
launcher?
Yeah, the launcher. Yeah, the Origins launcher, because it was
that
supposed to
nobody
be
likes.
Well, it was supposed to be the default launcher for the Wii U. There was a negotiation that happened and it fell through quite badly, and
That's the unprecedented partnership.
So
they've
shouldn't
had
that
a
be a
rocky
blessing?
relationship since. So, when it comes to EA third party, they're probably the one you should expect the least to come. I'm not saying that none of their stuff will come, but it's not a situation where all of their stuff would come.
I agree with
Because-
that.
Yeah,
because it's EA.
yeah. Even if GTA 6 came to Switch 2, I don't even know if Battlefield would still come.
I don't think
Really?
it's going to.
Yeah. Like, they're just very stubborn and rigid in their views. And look, I've met like people who are in upper management and CEOs and stuff. A lot of these people have real massive egos and a lot of pride, and they will literally commit acts of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Over their egos because they're so fragile. So, yeah,
I've seen it.
I wouldn't expect it. It makes sense to me, but I haven't heard anything. But yeah, I would. What's the saying? Was it hope? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Hope
Yeah,
for the best, plan
I'm
for the
butchering
worst.
the line, but you know what I
I
mean.
was gonna say, because like I know about some games from EA that are coming, but the more I think about the games I know about, a lot of them deal with like properties that they don't have full control over. So it could be other people telling them you're putting this game on Nintendo rather than them making that decision themselves.
Yep.
So quite interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
let
It's
me
interesting how
let
this
me
stuff
ask an addendum to that, because obviously we have the buyout with Saudi Arabia, the public
Yes.
investment fund, and when that news came out, part of me was like, maybe this will be a good thing, because there's going to be other influences now that could make more sense to where they say, no, you need to do this actually, instead of letting their egos get the best of them. Do you think this is going to play any role in EA making decisions that are better for everyone, including obviously their bottom line?
It's hard to say, man. I think Saudi Arabia are they are a red flag, but they're just they're a wild card in some ways. I just don't really know what they're going to do or what they're capable of and what their intent was to buy out EA. Was it just to keep the money machine going? Do they want to cancel some IP and just focus on a couple of core IP? If so, are they going to go all in on PC and maybe not consoles? Like, it's just hard to know. I don't really have an answer. It also depends on if they replace anybody as well. Like, they might buy it out and keep all the same people there, and they still do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm still skeptical. Skeptical.
My other
personally.
part too with that is that the whole thing with EA is that's with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and of course they're invested in Nintendo as well.
Yeah.
So like, connect the dots. To me, it seems like it's going to get better support because the public investment fund is heavily invested in both.
Well, from a financial standpoint, I agree. That makes perfect sense. But just some of the way these people operate at the upper level.
I
you know,
know
that-
that. I worked in
Yeah,
corporate
well,
management.
you
saw
know, right?
firsthand.
Like,
Yeah, and I think
Yes.
it depends on how much Saudi Arabia wants to be hands on or hands off. Like if they're
Yeah,
just buying them
that's
because
another
they
point.
view them as a money train because they saw their financials and like, hey, you guys just make bank every year. We'll let you run under Andrew Wilson. Just keep making bank. We're not going to say anything until the money stops. That could be how this relationship works. Or they could be a lot more hands on. Like that's the thing. Like it's such a wild card because we've seen them have like buy parts of all these different companies like Nintendo, but yet they're pretty hands off. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of letting we just own this part and we're letting them be. This is one of the first times where they're going to own like the entire thing, basically. So
Yeah,
we
I'm
don't
really
know
interested.
we don't really know what that's like or what that means. Obviously, for many reasons, a lot of people are going to be skeptical, of course. It'd just be like if Tencent bought them. You'd be equally skeptical over what the hell they're going to do with the company. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer. I don't have an answer yet. It's kind of a watch this space, but I think probably over the next 6 to 12 months, depending on what sort of support Switch 2 gets from EA, which will probably answer your question.
Yeah, I'm just interested. Saudi Arabia is just really, they've grown a lot when it comes to gaming. I've been kind of keeping my eye on them with all these investments as well, because they tend to make some really good investments that you can copy.
They're smart.
Yeah, and
I know a lot of people like to crap on them, but
no,
whether you don't like them or not, they are smart.
Yeah,
They
their
are.
money, when they invest their money, they make it back.
Yeah,
Like
and
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they got Scrooge McDuck money, man. They're not like Elon Musk where their money is reported. They'll be trillionaires based on oil. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're way richer than Elon Musk. It's just not recorded.
Yeah.
In Forbes.
Yeah. Just to spit out a few numbers, like I've had kind of this document that I go over with these different countries with gaming, but they're home to 23.5 million gamers, and that represents 63% of their total population.
Wow.
So 63% of their population plays video games. And
is it predominantly online? Online games? Do you know?
Let's see. Let me see what I have here.
It could be mobile too, like phone games.
Yeah, when you say
32% play mobile.
games.
Yeah, 32. Okay, 30. Yeah, a large chunk
yeah.
mobile. That's not surprising.
Yeah. So like once you start breaking it down and you work out where these gamers actually are, whether it's mobile or console or PC, whatever, that can probably give you more of a.
But console and PC is going up. It's on the uptrend, and even Saudi women is up to 48% identifying as gamers. So I was
That's
like,
high.
this is very interesting. Yeah, I'm just keeping my eye on them, and with the EA stuff and Nintendo and just the investments they're making. I'm just hoping they make some more consumer friendly decisions that I think would positively affect their bottom line. But again,
I love your optimism, dude.
Well, at the same time, I know there's only so much you can do, right? Like from our position, it makes sense. But if you got people that are in charge that have
whatever makes them the most
with
money,
Nintendo, then
the decision. If that decision happens to be consumer friendly, sure.
Yeah, I mentioned this in my presentation at the NZGDC when I was talking about Nintendo's game design philosophy. Is Nintendo will sacrifice short-term gains to preserve the longevity of their IP. They think really long-term. A lot of these big publishers like the EAs, the Microsofts, the Ubisofts and stuff, they don't think like that. It's all about like appeasing shareholders and like trying to make as much money as you can within the shortest time frame. And that's why they are who they are and why Nintendo is who they are.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I think it's very noticeable too. I mean, I always think of like the power side of things with hardware, kind of pumping the brakes on that and not pushing their hardware to the maximum like Sony or Microsoft has. And we've seen diminishing returns from the competitors, but Nintendo, they've still got like we're making jumps. Like the jump from Switch to Switch 2 feels a lot bigger than PS4 Pro to PS5, or even PS5 to PS5 Pro, which is wild. But
yeah, I don't really understand like how they think that's sustainable. I don't even understand what the point is of another PlayStation like PS6.
Yeah.
It's like especially when you consider casual gamers, right? I mean, I like to think of myself as a hardcore casual gamer because I'm not like playing 50 games a year or something like some people are. But most casual gamers, what are they playing? They're playing Fortnite, they're playing Roblox, they're playing Call of Duty, they're playing FIFA, probably GTA. They're playing the same games over and over, right? And you don't need like this amazing, huge leap in graphics. They don't really care about ray tracing and they don't really care about 120 frames per second and stuff. So I'm like, how are you going to convince all these people to upgrade to something that theoretically they don't actually need? And it's not going to actually change the fundamental experience.
Yeah. And it's a bigger risk too. It's like a much bigger risk, as we've seen.
So I'm curious to see what the competitors do. Because we are reaching the point of diminishing returns, and these games are just, especially in the West, it's a big problem, a very big problem, and I worry specifically for the industry in America because I think for the longest time, America's kind of had the cream of the crop in terms of the talent. Obviously Japan as well, but Japan's kind of off doing its own thing. But what you're starting to see now is you're seeing a lot of talented game developers in places like Europe, China, obviously, parts of South East Asia. And when the average salary in America is like $150,000, and you could outsource a lot of that to talented people in Europe or Southeast Asia and pay like the same salary for like 4 people, it kind of undercuts the American game development sector. Like, why would you do it? Like, Rockstar is a perfect example. There are 1,600 people, 1,600 devs in Rockstar Bangalore, India, that are working on GTA 6 right now. Right?
It's so wild, dude.
And if you think about like, if the average salary is $150,000 in America, you could pay for like 4 Indians to do that, right? And I know in Rockstar in India, they do predominantly QA, art, and animation, right? And then they do like the basic run through or like the first iteration, and then once it needs to be fine tuned, they send it off to like people in the States and stuff. But that's my concern, is you're going to start seeing the effects of not only AI but a lot of outsourcing. And I think it's going to be a devastating blow to a lot of these AAA studios. Sorry, I have no idea how we digressed there and got onto that. But
talking about games in the industry, man, it happens. You should see some of the tangents that happen. The reason like our episodes have been averaging closer to 5 hours lately. This is why. All the time.
We've legit argued about candy for an hour on the podcast and stuff.
Wow. All my candy's upstairs now.
From like someone like popping a candy, just completely derailing the podcast.
Dude, we had a 20-minute discussion once on RC Cola because of Thunderstack. Like, yeah, it happens. Can you tell we're a group of people who only get together once a week to talk? There's a lot to talk about.
Right?
There is. All right, Stash, you got some more questions?
Yeah. Okay, so recently we've had a lot of games obviously either shadow dropped or announced with short release window. AC Shadows, December 2nd. Red Dead Switch 2, December 2nd. We have System Shock Remake that is still coming here in 2025. And then, of course, Tomb Raider just came out. Do you know of any other shadow drops this year for Switch 2?
Not next year, but I know some not this year, but next year I do.
You know of some shadow drops or some
next year?
Some games that haven't been announced, I guess.
Yep. They'll just be shadow drops. Just like this. Yep. I'm not going to tell you what they are though. because
Did you know about the Tomb
obviously
Raider one?
I have to keep a good relationship with these guys.
Any big ones?
Well, it depends on what you define as big.
Any AAA ones.
Like for example, I think anything big from like Capcom to me would be a big one. Like the next Okami. Obviously, that's not going to get shadow dropped next year, but like
Yeah, that's not being
Onimusha, stuff like that, games like that. Those aren't shadow drops. I know those aren't shadow drops, but that caliber is more what I'm getting at.
There is one that I'll mention. And if you know the sort of people that I interview, that will probably give you a little bit of a hint as to what it may be. But I won't say
I'm going to watch every interview he's ever done. Try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Good luck. There's a lot of interviews, guys. Good luck.
Sorry, I know I'm being vague, but like there's only so much I can say without pissing off like every single developer, not to mention
the point is, guys, multiple shadow drops coming next year to Switch 2. Part of the reason he's out there publicly saying 2026 is going to be a big year for third party on Switch 2. This is part of that.
It is indeed.
Not all of it. Not every game shadow drop, guys. God, come on.
No. It has to make sense. Like they'll be looking at data and then
I think the Tomb Raider shadow drop made a lot of sense this week. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think it was
dropping for $20, $18 for the initial sale. Yeah, guys, everyone figured out it's not the PS4 version. It's $18, 60 FPS. People did all these comps to the PS4 and like it'd be an upscale like on PS5. And guys, outside of the hair, it basically looks identical. What are we doing? These are great games.
Yep.
Even the old versions, they're great games. It's $18. Good shadow drop.
Very good.
A shout out, by the way. Well, I think it was Aspire who did the port for that.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we shout out Panic Button. They just announced before the show that they've been the ones behind all of Nintendo's like enhanced like games and stuff. Like they were hired by Nintendo for that. So shout out to Panic Button for making our games better on Switch 2.
Here's another direct question for you. So Shenmue 3 was announced. Obviously, Shenmue 1 and 2 have never been on Nintendo. Those are the better games, of course, as well. You heard anything about Shenmue 1 and 2 coming?
Just injects his opinion as a fact just to lead the question.
I mean, have you you heard about Shenmue 1 and 2 coming to Switch 2?
I have not. I have not heard anything, unfortunately.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, you shot your shot. It was worth
That's fine. Okay, the Game Awards. Obviously, Game Awards always full of big announcements. Game Awards is going to obviously, it'll have a focus on Expedition 33, the big one.
Just a little.
Would be a great stage to announce that's in development for Switch 2. Death Stranding 2 will be there. Another great stage to announce Death Stranding Switch 2 edition, the first one. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake has had obviously a big presence over the years at the Game Awards. Another great stage to announce something about a Switch 2 edition. Baldur's Gate, all these games that have had these big presences at the Game Awards. Curious if you know of any games that will be announced at the Game Awards, not shadow dropped, but announced to be coming to Switch 2 that are significant.
I don't really know about announcements in terms of Game Awards and stuff because I primarily deal with developers. They're not really in charge of that stuff. As to when something gets announced. You'll notice like I pretty much never give release dates because developers are like, we don't know. We don't make that decision. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't think you'd do that though. Like to be on the Game Awards, it costs a lot of money. Like it would probably be more expensive to be on the Game Awards than to be in a Nintendo Direct. That's what I'm thinking. So it might be more viable for them to just announce it on their own, depending on the game, or B, announce it in a direct.
Yeah, so specifically, like Expedition 33 or obviously they're going to be up there on the microphone, so it's not going to cost them any money to say,
Are they going to be? You're assuming they're
oh,
going to
by
win?
the way, this is coming.
They're going to win one of the 12 awards they're up for.
Yeah, by the way, this you can look forward to playing this next year on Switch 2, or obviously Death Stranding. Like these are things that you could, I think, get away with without paying anything out of pocket, and especially with Death Stranding, I'm sure Jeff would be like, "Yeah, no problem. I won't charge you anything."
Yeah, I don't think
You're my
Kojima gets
boy.
ever charged for anything he does there.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's charged for anything.
He might receive money.
I don't think Kojima-san would do that. Just knowing Japanese culture and like the respect that Japanese tend to have for each other, I don't think they would do a fast one. He would do a fast one like that and announce Death Stranding 2 while he's on stage.
Yeah. You know what? He's going to be mad. He's going to be mad at the Game Awards because they discluded Kirby Air Riders, and he's really good friends with Sakurai. They go to dinners together. He's going to protest. I ain't making no Nintendo announcements here. You left my boy's game out of the awards. I'm just playing.
All right, I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you anything Xbox because, I don't have any questions. I know it. Feel like I know what's going to happen there. PlayStation though, PlayStation's more. I think that's more interesting about any of their IP. Do you know of any other IP that are going to be coming to Switch 2? Obviously, outside of the show, MLB The Show.
Do I know of other games that are coming to Switch 2?
Yeah, any PlayStation
from
IP
Sony?
outside
Is that
of
what
the
you're asking?
show.
Oh,
Yeah.
outside of. No comment.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. Got it. Thank you. And then the last one, this question's for Nate, because Nate's gonna forget to ask you.
We just move on. I love it.
Nate's gonna forget to ask you this one. But he claims to know this.
Oh God.
It's not
So-
the ending of Ocarina of Time, is it?
No, it's a game that's been in development for 17 years, and he believes it's still in active development. That's Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I just want to know, just as a
great
joke, honestly,
question,
if you know
Stash.
anything about it.
He just wants to destroy me quick on my source.
Oh my
Well,
god.
you know what? Hey, Kiwi might know something.
The way I view Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the same thing I view with like Half-Life 3. Like
Yes.
I've heard so many different things over so long that it's just gotten to the point that it just feels like noise to me. So like I've heard, yes, it's still in development, but what does that actually mean? That doesn't necessarily mean it's in development. It just means like we kind of have this idea. Like with Half-Life 3, I've known about that game for ages. Like it started
For half a lifetime, huh?
Well, I can't remember when exactly they started working on it, but basically because like Valve, for example, has a flat structure, they don't have a hierarchical structure, so people can just do whatever they want, right? So like they can start a project and then they have to try and convince the rest of the team to get on board with their project. And I know for like Half-Life 3, they started it, then they stopped it, then they started it again, then stopped it, started it again and stopped it. So it's been going on for so long that I'm just like, unless I see a trailer, I have no idea. And it's similar with Beyond Good and Evil. Like it's just kind of gone on so long that I'm just kind of like, it's just noise. Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I mean,
too.
that official announcement, to be honest, felt like just noise. It looked nothing like a Beyond Good and Evil game. They were like advertising, like, "Oh, you can pay to develop the game too on our portal."
Yeah, I mean,
very
the amount
bizarre.
of money they've poured into that by now, they'll never make that back, man. Like, and they're not
yeah.
Valve. They're not sitting on the infinite money glitch. So, like, it's
No, they're sitting on the. We might be sold. We had to pause our stock glitch.
exactly. So, like, who knows what's happening with that game, honestly. The minute I start to get different I suppose intel, I know something's definitely up, and I'm like, maybe this isn't what I think it is. So, and that's the case with that game. I at this point I'm just like, I have no idea. There's just so many different stories that I've heard over the years that I'm just kind of like, I'm done. I don't even want to know what's happening with that game anymore.
Thatch could not debunk my source. I'm happy. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta ask, because
It was
Thatch
a nice
asked,
try.
such a great question about Beyond Good and Evil. What about any mumblings or murmurs of Star Citizen coming to Switch 2? Or coming
No,
at
I haven't
all?
heard anything. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Shut down.
Yeah, shut down. Sorry, bro.
They got one more. This is just one from the chat. Michael J. He loves Kingdom Come on Switch, and I personally I could answer it for him. I think it's coming to Switch too. But have you heard anything about Kingdom Come Deliverance coming to Switch too?
The second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have the first.
Yes, but I don't trust the source fully.
Okay.
Cool.
So like I'm a bit
Make it
weary on the source. Yeah. So like I have heard that it's coming, but
think it makes
this person's gotten stuff wrong before. So I wouldn't trust the intel. That's what I'd say.
Is this the same person you have a bet with on GTA 6?
No, man. No. The person with GTA 6, that's an India person, right?
Yeah.
They're connected to Rockstar Bangalore. So all their info tends to revolve around Rockstar for the most part.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
This is a completely different source. Yeah. But the one who's in India, yeah, he's interesting.
Very
chat.
adamant, apparently.
Yeah, he was.
Because
he's
you
like,
know,
you know what he said? He's like, I'm telling you, Kiwi, 150%, it is coming. It is coming 150%. GTA 6 Switch 2.
Is he like, I have to ask, like, is this the most adamant he's been on things he's told you? Because I know you said he's gotten things wrong in the past, right? So it's like, not the most trustworthy of sources, but is like he more adamant about this than anything else he's ever said?
Well, here's the thing. Like, this can deviate.
I know you don't think GTA 6 is coming. To clarify, he's put out there he does not believe GTA 6 is coming to Switch 2 at least anytime soon.
So look, my wife's from India, right? I've been to India multiple times. Love the country, love the people. With that being said, I understand the culture quite well, and the culture is a culture where status plays a huge part in the culture, right? Mm-hmm. So what can sometimes happen as a result of that is people sometimes they exaggerate the truth, or they outright lie to give the perception that they are more important or more successful than what they are, right?
Sure.
And I'm not saying that's always the case, but I'm just saying with the way this guy is regarding GTA 6, like it's so like over the top that I'm like, no, I'm pretty good at reading the stuff, and I think he's trying to make it seem like he has some genuine intel on like the biggest game ever. But I'm like, dude, there is literally nobody else that has corroborated what you have said. I'm like, how can that be? If this was true, I would have been able to find some info from somebody. But you're telling me that you somehow gained access to like
watch him be
high
like
level information.
Watch him be like be like in the end when if it gets announced like next year, if he's like, see, I told you, and how did he know? I was directly working on it.
Well, I know what he does for a living, so I know. So I know he doesn't work at Rockstar. That's another thing, right?
Okay, so he's like an outsourced company.
Yeah. So he's like connected to someone who knows someone at Rockstar.
Okay, sure.
So he's like third in the chain. But I will say this: he was the very, very first person that told me about Red Dead Redemption 2 on Switch 2 before I
Mm.
got it confirmed from like 8 developers, right? But he
Yeah.
the first inkling of it came from him. So
Yeah.
and as I've said, he's been right about stuff before, and he's been like, he told me ages ago about like what was it, GTA trilogy coming
The
to Switch?
trilogy, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, he told me about that and stuff.
Yeah,
But,
because they probably
like-
handled the port or part of the porting process out there.
well, maybe. I mean, I still don't know
I
how
we
he did
know,
all
I know
the-
we know who did the port, and it was a very not a good port.
Yeah, but I don't think Rockstar Bangalore had much involvement with that port though, so I still don't understand how he got that
how we
information.
knew.
Yeah, and
I wonder if
frankly, I don't want to know because it's probably dodgy.
it could also be one of those things where maybe if you did know, like assuming that the information he got was good, maybe it was because maybe in the very early days they had considered using that part of Rockstar to port it before they decided to go elsewhere. Could have been part of a discussion, a high level discussion that because obviously we don't know who he knows and who they know, and you know how high up the chain that they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the information from.
Like I don't know. I
Not
don't
a
know
reliable
who,
source, guys. Just
Yeah, I don't know who he's connected to exactly. Yeah, like obviously I
But-
know quite a few people in India. My wife's family are quite important in certain states, I guess you could say. Like so they know quite a few different people, but
people
Yeah.
know there.
yeah, so but with this guy, I mean, he's just so over the top. And then when he doubled down and he's like, I'm telling you, 100%. I'm just like,
This was awesome.
dude, I was just like,
For his
okay.
sake, I kind of hope it happens, just to make him smile.
oh, dude, like,
Make his
hey,
day.
hey, there's a part of me that wants to be wrong because, like, I'd love to play GTA 6 on Switch too because it's actually more suited to my lifestyle. Having like a massive, like the PS5 is so big, man, and it's like it takes up so much room. Like my missus doesn't like it. She's like, it takes up too much room. Like, and sometimes I alternate. Sometimes I'm playing on the TV. Sometimes I'm playing in my office. So then I have to move my PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a
I
pain
would-
in the ass. So like having the Switch 2 is actually ideal for my lifestyle. So playing GTA 6 on the Switch 2 would be great. It's fine, you know. But like I try to be realistic about these things, and until somebody else corroborates that GTA 6 Switch 2 is a thing, I'm just not willing to believe this guy. Look, I mean, and I'll happily buy him
Just
dinner.
Yeah, just yeah. You guys have a dinner bet on this, by the way. So you know his source is like very adamant, but again, not the most trustworthy. Has been right on some stuff, has been wrong on some stuff. Doesn't directly work at Rockstar. That's how this happens. You know.
Yeah. I'll quickly just explain everything to the chat. So basically, I have a bet with a guy in India. I'm supposed to be in India next year, around about June, July. Okay, so if the Switch 2 version of GTA 6 is announced, and by the way, he said day and date. It's the PS5.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like this is
That's
same.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
same
yeah,
day.
now I'm questioning. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild. That's
Yeah,
wild.
same day. This isn't a bit like,
Well,
oh, it's
that
going to be
delay,
announced.
that delay was for it then.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
So when I get to India, if it hasn't been announced by that date, then he's going to buy me dinner. If it has, and it comes out on the day, you know,
There's no
was
way
it
we get to,
November?
like,
Is it
there's
November?
no way we get to like the June direct, and if it's coming out next year, we don't hear about it. There's no way.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well, that's not it.
monumental.
I mean, look, do you think I'm being realistic about this?
Well, the moment you said day and date, I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like ever someday, same day as PC in 2027, 2028, maybe. Day and date with the other cons?
Yeah. Because then theoretically, how do you do that bit as well? If it's like, well, it's coming at some point,
The
then
only
how do you do the bit? You just keep moving it until it finally gets announced.
I speculated that the only way that would even be remotely possible, and this comes from Kit and Krista talking about how much Nintendo of America has really tried to court Rockstar over the years and kind of failed to do so, would be that Nintendo has one thing now they used to not have, and that is Shiver Entertainment. And we know what game they ported most recently for Switch 2. If that was offered as an olive branch to be like, hey, we'll pay to port the thing to our system. We have our own team, experts. Let's put them on it. But that would be like the only card I think Nintendo could pull out that might make them go, well, if you're willing to pay for the port and use your own internal team, we have to oversee it and make sure that it works. And because they want to make sure it's gotta be the same game. And there's gonna be multiplayer with microtransactions. Like, they got to make sure everything's working internally as well. But it's interesting because that's the only way I can see day and date. And even then, I'm not so sure that Shiver Entertainment has the manpower to try to pull this monumental. They could massively hire. I know they have been hiring, but not to a level that I think they're working on GTA 6. But it's one of those things where the moment you said day and date, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd be just like you. Someday, yes.
Yeah. And the other thing, just to rebuttal like what you said about Shiver Entertainment, I don't see Rockstar outsourcing it to any company. There is too much of a security risk with that game. Like, dude, I've heard of like fans literally flying drones up to like the office windows to try and get any footage, like pretending to be postmen, like doing all these wild things just to try and get some stuff.
Think
like,
about what doesn't leak about this game.
Yeah, like they got like NASA level security, man. Like Rockstar don't play with this stuff, so they're not going to run the risk of Shiver or some developer at Shiver potentially leaking it or making an error which causes somebody to hack them or something. Like they've learned quite a lot from the first hack, and they're even more vigilant now than they used to be.
And
so
Nintendo doesn't have the greatest track record, especially in the United States, for things not leaking out. Like we've had leaks for Metroid. We've had, granted, we didn't know Shiver was working on the one game, but I think it's just because nobody cared to bother to check.
Yeah, like it's WWE. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
I mean that in the most respectful way.
Yeah, no one was bothering to be like, "Hey, who's working on this port that hasn't been announced yet?" For no one. But if it was a bigger game like GTA, like if anybody caught wind that knows people that working on it at Shiver, it's probably gonna get out.
Yeah. Like Rockstar just do what they want to do, man. And I just. Even if Nintendo was to throw them a whole bunch of money, I don't think there is any amount of money they could possibly throw at Rockstar where they'd be like, yep, because they make so much money from GTA Online anyway that it doesn't. Money. They don't need Nintendo. They just don't. I mean,
Krista have said, we're kicking Chris is like, we've tried courting them while we were there and nothing we did worked. I'm like, yeah, because they don't need anybody. There's nothing Nintendo can offer that's going to be like, yeah, we could just do that ourselves if we really wanted to. We just don't want to.
Yeah. Like, especially when, Nintendo is very powerful at the moment. They're way more powerful than they used to be.
Yeah. Market leading from the power.
Yeah. But even so, man, I like GTA 5 sold 200 million units without Nintendo at all. So,
but you can also imagine, hey, could that have been 230 million?
I know, but that's the thing. Rockstar do a lot of weird stuff, man. Like where you would think they would port stuff just to make additional money, and then they just don't do it, right? Yeah. Like GTA 4. Like
we should note, however, that more of Rockstar stuff has been coming to Nintendo than we're accustomed to. Obviously, with the trilogy, we had Red Dead Redemption 1, new update coming. Really excited for that. They decided to give us that free update to switch to. And then obviously we know Red Dead Redemption 2. You're not the only person to say this. Date hates me saying it as well. Lots of people have heard things about Red Dead Redemption 2. I heard things years ago. Kind of figured it was going to be on Switch 2 because they tried on Switch 1 and it never got fully greenlit. But they did try. It was really neat for me to find out from some of my friends that they actually did try to put it on Switch 1. That said, the fact that they even tried to put it on Switch 1, and this was back when like Red Dead Redemption 2 was like new. Like they tried to put it on Switch 1 back then. But it just didn't. Rockstar's got like certain fidelity and certain things they want to match up, and if they can't make it work, they're just not going to bother. So it never got greenlit for that. Obviously, got moved over to Switch 2 eventually later. What's interesting to me is that also means like, well, they did try. I know for a fact they tried to put Red Dead Redemption 2 closer to when it came out on Switch 1, just didn't work. They put now we know based on your sources, Nate the Hate and others, it's coming to Switch 2 probably. I assume at some point next year. Maybe early next year. I know Nate the Hate was under the impression it would be within the launch window. Okay, well, that doesn't look like that's going to be the case because we're getting the Red Dead Redemption 1 update. But then again, if they're doing the 1 update, they probably want that out before they drop 2. So kind of makes some sense if they space out 2 a bit into next year. But it's interesting because that also is like the last game they really put out was 2 until 6 comes out. So it's like maybe they are a bit more chummy with Nintendo than they once were, and maybe do see the forest for the trees of, hey, when we talked about Nintendo back with GTA 5, they weren't shit. Why do we care about what they're doing? The Wii U's tanking, the 3DS is not something we're really that interested in. Hey, late in the Switch 1 life, we started bringing a bunch of games over. Now we're bringing 2 to Switch 2. Switch 2 is selling faster than any console in history. You know, maybe we want to be part of that rapid growth, get in there in the early days and ride the climb.
Maybe, but I also know that Rockstar have a culture.
I'm just trying to throw your guy on.
I just Rockstar have a culture of like they have a certain vision and they don't like to compromise on that vision. And I think the big issue for Switch 2 is the CPU. Like if they have to remove population density, that might not be something that they're willing to do. There will be a line in the sand that will be.
It comes down to experience with the game, because I know there has been just some developer interviews I've been paying attention to, and you would know more about this. In fact, we have a question that's kind of related to this. I'll put up here from a fan. But obviously, the GPU is much stronger than the CPU relative to each other in the console, and I've heard from some developers that what they've been trying to do is, when they have the dev kits, they're learning that they can offload some of that to the GPU in ways that they didn't realize they could, because they just didn't have to in the other systems.
Exactly.
So it is also possible that with optimization, again, this is a huge thing, industry optimization. It's a big thing behind the scenes, like trying to optimize video games. They're not always even given the time to properly optimize. GTA, I think, will get the time for that, hence all the delays. But it's interesting because there is maybe a way where, they got to lower the population density if they keep it all CPU bound. But if there's a way they can somehow make it more GPU bound and still have it somehow function with whatever online crossplay they have, that's obviously something that they would be exploring. Because I only say this because we obviously know they have dev kits. We're literally getting Switch 2 games from them. So, it's one of those, it just seems like, just to throw your guy a bone, like, hey, they seem to be a bit more friendly with Nintendo heading into Switch 2 now than they ever were in the past. So like, for like their next big game, that's going to be like the best selling game of all time, potentially, if it could somehow beat GTA 5. It's like, what's the one thing that could push you over? Well, what about the one platform you weren't on? And it's portable. People love to play portably. Like, hey, in your testing, like when you're working on the PC version, did you get it working on Steam Deck? Well, okay, then maybe it probably can run on Switch 2.
Maybe. I mean, look, I am not an engineer, so this is way above my knowledge base.
Way above your knowledge.
Might
be as well. I want to throw this.
Maybe
you might have some general comments on this question. This is from Kooster. He said, after a developer gets a Switch 2 dev kit, what's been more difficult, porting or optimization?
I think it depends on the game. Really, it's really hard to answer. I couldn't give you like some.
It's a big
it's support or not. It really depends on the game. What's required.
That's what I figured based on your answer. I'm like, if you don't obviously get that deep into the weeds on it, because a lot of it requires direct, like actually making game, understanding all of that fundamentals there. Okay, cool. There was one other question from a fan I wanted to throw out here, if I could find it. Well, I'll ask this one while I'm looking for it. I know you're not going to say anything, but I have to try. What's this big surprise game next year? It's going to make people, the WTF moment.
Oh, right. Yeah. What about
you recently put this out? Tell me you forgot already. This was like yesterday or the day before. This was not originally in my line of questions until that tweet went out, and I'm like, okay.
I've actually posted about it before, but for some reason it didn't get the traction like it did. Was it yesterday that I posted it? Or the day before. Yeah.
I made it in my news video today. I was like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I have to ask him on the show. It is what it is. I expect zero actual knowledge on what the game is unless you're willing to give anything.
Okay, so no comment.
Okay. Develop.
Look, I can't say anything without it.
Damn it! I was hoping to
get away.
The world.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I've been trying to think of a way of how I could say it, but I can't think of a way without, giving it away. And like, I would be in so much crap
Yeah.
If I just outright said it, like
I
reputation
had
is
to try.
destroyed.
I'd be so wild.
Yeah.
Make it-
You might not get much more developer interviews. We literally reveal
Yeah, be like, that's it.
information we're not
Blacklisted.
supposed to. It's one thing
Takes
to get people excited. It's another thing to say exactly what it is and ruin the reveal.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Takes
last
us.
time. We did get him to mention Fallout was coming, but he won't quite commit to which one it was. But if you pay attention to what he was saying, he had a certain facial expression when he said Fallout 4, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to draw attention to it. Just let it be. Let it be. Let's just see what happens. And then literally vilified. Dude, he shouted out our podcast that he was on when he brought up the Fallout when it was announced. Because he's like, hey, if you guys would have watched some stuff I was on, maybe this wouldn't be a surprise to you.
To be honest, after I said it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to get so much news traction.
And then,
And then, like, nothing.
Nothing.
I was like, that's kind of good in a way.
it's buried in a
What
5-hour show. People aren't digging
There's that, yeah.
I'm the
Well,
only
I mean,
dude, the next day. I put it in a video the next day, so it should have been super easy for anyone that wanted to know. You just had to watch my news video the very next day that had the clip, and it was just exactly what you said.
Yeah,
Left
yeah.
that, you know.
I have watched your like your news segments quite a few times. So I do appreciate the shout outs. It is always a bit weird when I'm like watching a video about myself. I'm
you
like,
in it?
this is like very narcissistic. I can't do this.
Yeah,
somehow.
very weird. When I hear in other people's videos, whether it's positive or negative, it just feels so weird.
It does feel weird, right? It's
I'm
like it almost
Yeah,
feels
that's what
like
I do. I shouldn't be in your video. Wait, what?
Yeah. So
You guys are crazy. I watch my videos all day and smile.
well, I mean, like when I'm editing a podcast, like an interview, obviously I'm watching myself back,
Yeah.
and taking like notes of what I did wrong and what I did right and stuff. But then after that, I'm done, man. I don't go back and watch my old interviews because I just cringe. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. Unless there's a specific reason for me to do it.
All right, attack the backlogs in the chat quick. I'll just throw this out. He says, Reese, wink if the WTF game is Crimson Desert. By the way, there's already been rumors on that game coming thanks to GameStop to Switch 2. And by the way, we asked people in person at PAX West about it coming to Switch 2. I made sure to answer that after they interviewed us and put us up on the throne. I'm like, look, I got one question. Coming to Switch 2? And their response was literally like, oh, so people on Nintendo are interested in this game. As I'm literally sitting there wearing a Switch 2 t-shirt. But the way they said it was like, what do you want us to say? We're not about to confirm this for you, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What's the term in America? Is it like plead the fifth? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I played the fifth. Yeah.
It was like very all of us were there. It was very obvious that there's like we want to say something, but we can't.
That's so funny.
I got him right on the spot. Hey, you interviewed us. I thought it was open season to ask a question back. My bad. Anyways,
Kiwi,
one for that.
Kiwi, I got a question from someone in chat
Okay.
asking, have you heard anything about Persona 6? I know that's one that a lot of RPG fans have been like anxiously awaiting some sort of announcement on. I know we are getting that remake of Persona 4 in the near future, and that one's going to be coming to Switch too, which is awesome. But what about Persona 6? Have you heard any mumblings or murmurings about that one? Feels like
My
ages
sources
now.
don't really stretch that far.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And this,
fair enough.
I'm planning on doing. I'll do the announcement here. Okay. I haven't announced this officially yet.
Ooh.
So next year, I've been dealing with it behind the scenes. It's very hard to make happen, but the plan is to do Japanese interviews next year.
oh,
Rad. Hell yeah.
Interviewing Japanese developers. It's very hard to make happen, which is why no one's really attempted it. And I'm finding that out behind the scenes, but it is something that's going on. So hopefully I have more to share.
that would be
at a
nice.
later date. Yeah. Because I think one of the biggest problems is that you have all these legends in the Japanese side of the industry and they don't get their time to shine, right? Like these people are in their 60s, 70s, like the Miyamotos, the Onumas, the Sakurais, the Kojimas, like they don't really do long form interviews. And it would be a shame if, worst case scenario, something happened to them and they never got to share,
whatever.
Details about the games they've worked on and just things about their life and challenges that they overcame to reach.
Yeah. That's maybe that's not in the company curated way.
Yeah. So that is the plan. The biggest problem is one, Japanese people, the type of people, you can't just like do this stuff. They like to build up a relationship with someone first.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to trust you out the gate. They're like, who the heck's this hobbit from Middle Earth? I'm doing an interview with this guy. So I'm working with some people in Japan to try and get my foot in the door. The second thing is it's going to be very, very costly to do.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to subsidize the cost, because you need to pay for a translator. You need to pay for the dubbing. So look, I'm not trying to earn Scrooge McDuck money here, but it does have to be financially viable in order for it to make sense. But yeah, so that is something I'm doing behind the scenes. Hopefully I'll have more info at a later date.
All right, I got
Very nice.
another question from a fan here.
Awesome.
Said, anything new on the Black Flag remake, if you've heard anything?
Anything new as in what? When it's coming out? What is he?
I don't know.
Vague. I don't know what he means.
For fans, I'm like, I can't expand on it. Other than, there's lots of rumors on this thing, but like,
well, yeah, it exists. That's all I can say. Like, as I've said before, I don't have access to like release dates. Devs that I know don't make those decisions. So yeah, I can tell you it exists, but that's all I got. Sorry.
Okay. Eric, you had a question, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if you're going to be comfortable sharing, anything.
You'll just say no.
One.
Oh, I know.
No, I know. No, I know.
I love how you're being so nice about it.
Yeah, but with your position of being like an insider and a leaker type of thing,
Interviewer is probably a better
interviewer.
word.
Yes.
But yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yes. All the above.
Yeah, it seems that way.
With your sources, what's your process on vetting them and things like that? And then if they make your list, what would be something that would all of a sudden just immediately cross them off your list?
That's a very good question, dude. So usually when I get intel, I keep it close to my chest, and usually after they get about 3 or 4 things right in a row, then I'll be like, okay, they're usually pretty trustworthy, because I hear a lot of stuff. A lot of it's just noise.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a matter of them seeing their track record first. So they might come to me, and say, I don't know, Majora's Mask Remastered comes out next year.
All right, clip it, everybody.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, but then I'd keep that entirely to myself. I wouldn't say anything, right? And then if it comes out, I'm like, oh, okay, you got that right, true. And then so that's kind of how I build the relationship with it.
Do you keep like a spreadsheet on people so it's like easy to organize and check off?
I probably should, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like something that you might want a spreadsheet.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, if anybody was to obtain,
Oh boy.
that's a big problem, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Just like your guy to India. India man 1. Just very general.
Well, I mean, he's connected to like my wife in some regard, like not directly, but like I kind of know. And I mean, because he's so eccentric
Former
as well.
employee, twice removed.
Yeah.
No,
I just call him. I call him Mr. 150%, because when he's saying something is true, he's always like 150%. It is true.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. The energy behind that is great. It's so good. Literally for his sake, and honestly for Switch 2 owner's sake, I would love for him to be true on that one. Kind of funny.
Yes, man. I'm happy to buy him better.
Hey, we did get additional context on at least that source that you're not really buying into, but there is a bet on the line for it. So hey, I don't know if that means much.
We'll find out next July.
Next June,
I said if I win, I'll take a picture of the meal while I'm in India. I'll post it on Twitter too.
Yeah.
I won't post him because I got to keep him.
Well, no doubt.
But I'll take a post of the dinner.
Some people know the meeting happened.
Yeah, and because Rockstar has ninjas, I wouldn't post it to Twitter until way after the meal.
Right. Yeah. It's like Thanksgiving time. All right, now it's up.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
You probably don't know anything on this.
well-
I'll let you follow. I just want to make sure I mentioned this before I forgot.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus making a comeback again. You don't have a lot of people on that side. Any noise?
Nothing, man. I haven't heard anything about Kid Icarus. I think that was just like with the Kid Icarus uprising. That was very much Sakurai wanting to do it, and so that's why it became a thing. I do you know how much it sold? I'm not even aware of how much that game sold. Whether it was like a huge success or just a somewhat of a
huge
success.
success. It would have came back already. Kind of feel like.
Yeah, maybe, but look, Nintendo doesn't have infinite resources.
1.3.
A lot of people ask.
13.
1.37.
Oh, that's well. I mean, I suppose that's okay. The budget wouldn't have been that high, so it's fine. But like Nintendo just doesn't have infinite resources. And I know a lot of Nintendo gamers are like, why don't we have this game and why don't we have that game? But like they're running a business here. You know, I don't think you're going to see F-Zero. I don't think it makes financial sense for them to ever make one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Some context behind what I'm about to share.
Okay.
This person is one of my number one supporters on my channel.
Okay.
Eventually, he's dating one of my mods and makes fun of me every single day.
Okay.
Reese, what can you tell us on the Switch 2 port of Henry the Hamster Handler or Henry the Hamster Handler 2? It's Prime's favorite game series. The context here is I hate hamsters and I hate this game with a passion.
He was
It is one
forced
of
to play it.
One of the worst video games I've ever played in my life.
I haven't even heard of it. What is it?
Yeah, you don't want to hear of it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel like disgraceful bringing this question up with you even on the show. I'm gonna be honest, but only because this person super chatted twice to make sure I shared this thing, and he supports so much, I have to embarrass myself in front of a professional. Thanks for that, Venny. So there you go. Yeah,
Henry the Hamster. Haven't heard of it.
and you'll never hear of it again.
Probably not.
It's not a good game.
There we go.
Developers, not a good game. At least I don't feel like it's a good game. Maybe someone out there likes it. Okay, you wanted to follow up here?
No, just the second part of it. What with you know, if once somebody's on your list of, you know, we're good, we trust this guy. You know, is there? I mean, have you ever had really anybody do something to kind of fall off the list? All of a sudden, just like, okay, yep, no, I don't trust this guy anymore, type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When a source tells me something and then they specifically ask me to post it on social media, that's a red flag for me. Because I'm like, okay, now it seems like you're trying to get attention. That's usually a red flag.
It's weird because they won't even get attention. You'd get the attention.
Exactly. But what it says to me is like they're just trying to, you know, just start a massive conversation or just to
Use your reputation.
Yeah. That's a red flag for me. Usually if they get one thing wrong, even if they've had a perfect track record beforehand, usually I might not. So with the source for Kirby and Smash Brothers, they got that wrong. So regardless of what they say going forward, I'll still listen to what they say, but I would never reveal anything publicly. Yeah.
Okay.
But those are very good questions, man.
Yeah.
Well, then one more follow up to that, and I can help you out with it. Okay. Who's your sources? Wait, where is it? Okay. Sorry.
I don't know if they heard that.
Oh, damn it. I was trying to beep it out for you.
He was trying to ask who your source was, and then he was going to beep it as a joke.
I was like, I totally missed that. I was like, what's going on?
Can you guys even hear the beep?
Yeah, I can hear the beep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was like, who's your sources?
But
And I'll
here's
help
the
you out
thing.
with it.
I see that beep.
Oh,
is-
right. Okay.
Yeah, someone
It only
someone
blocks
cue
us.
the
I don't know
crickets.
what blocks them.
Yeah. No, I was just making a joke.
So your source, you know,
Kiwi's all. Yeah, I got it. I just didn't think it was funny.
Yeah,
it
right.
might be an Odo at the end.
I'm kidding, Eric.
It would have been great if I actually was like totally with it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I should have had a coffee before I came on.
No, all good.
Nah, you're fine. Anyone else have any more questions before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I got one. Do you know the release date for the Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition? The upgrade that we already know is coming.
I love it how you
First,
say
you
it
get him to
with what a
confirm
great
it's coming,
face, dude.
and there's a release date.
Well, I don't need that confirmed. That's why I asked if you know the
I
release
know,
date.
technically, there's no confirmation that that's even happening.
Yeah, I know, but
It's just stats.
figured I'd ask if you know when it's coming.
Just so
guessing
straight
you probably Q1. So.
Dude, he's like this in person too. I'm telling you right now, very forward. Yeah.
But the fact that he says it with such a straight face is what makes it funny. And like the
Right.
mustache kind of hides the smile that he's actually kind of got underneath.
Did
So
you guys-
like you can't quite work out if he's being serious or if it's like a joke. Yeah.
It's intentional.
Smooth.
Mhm.
Thank you.
It's smooth not to answer the question too. All right.
It is.
That's a very smooth way to distract us with the stash. All right, cool. Well, we can probably move on to our next topic. Eric, I think it's you're next, right?
Yeah, I can be.
Yeah. We can probably save the Metroid topic for the end since he already talked a lot about Metroid
Yeah.
and we haven't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I assume you won't be
So
around.
you
for
probably got me for like another 30 or 40 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you guys can do
Awesome.
whatever it is you need to do.
that. Well, we'll get you in on this next topic. What's
Yeah.
up?
Okay, let me share this just so I can. Where the hell am I again? Sorry, I'm not like.
A professional.
Yeah, right.
I know. I think we got that when you tried to make the beep joke and hit like 4 wrong buttons.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I don't do it every day.
Well, I tried to make it obvious. See the red button?
Yeah, I know.
The red buttons when you don't want people to hear what
double
you say.
checked. I should double checked it.
Yeah, all right, Eric. You.
Yeah, I know.